Hungry don't get fed.
Hey guys, I'm Bobby Rio. I'm back with Rob Judge, and we got another video for you today. And in today's video, I want to pass along a little piece of knowledge, a little mantra that somebody told me about 13 years ago, and it's kind of guided me in the world of dating. And I think it really is one of the most powerful pieces of dating advice you're going to get, so you might want to write this down. And that little mantra is, those who look hungry never get fed. And it sounds simple, and let me explain what looking hungry means. Hungry is a term that we use for desperation. And it's looking hungry means being hungry for a woman's approval, being hungry for sex, being hungry for her attention, for the attention of girls. And you can spot these guys. You know, we've all been there. I've been the guy, you've probably been the guy, he's been the guy, and you can spot them whenever you go out. So
Yeah, this is something I see often when I'm at a bar or a nightclub, or even sometimes in a Starbucks. You just can see the guy who has that, I call it the eye of the rapist. He's looking around, and it's just so obvious that guy's entire night is dependent on getting some sort of woman's approval, attention. It's the guy at the bar who he has his drink up like this, and he just has like the radar eyes. He's just scanning the room, and he could be out with his friends, and his friends are sitting there, and they're not even conversing. They're just scanning the room, looking for, oh, I need a girl's approval. It's really pathetic, and you could just almost sniff the desperation, and it smells awful. It retracts, it just repels everyone.
when me and my friends first discovered this and kind of started living by this mantra, we would be out and we'd like walk over to each other and be like, dude, you're looking hungry, man. You're looking hungry. And then we'd even have like a fake little conversation just so that the people watching us wouldn't realize how hungry we are. So a lot of people think like looking hungry, oh, well, if you look cool or you're good looking, it doesn't matter. But there's a lot of things you can be doing outside of even the way you're, staring at girls that make you look hungry. I had this friend, Frank, that I used to work with. And Frank was, by all accounts, a good-looking guy. And he was actually, like, talking to him. He was kind of cool guy, like, funny, everything. But he never had a girl. And on the outside, you might go, how does this guy not get laid? But when you're hanging out with him, you realize he's so friggin' hungry. Like, to give you a few examples, and you may or may not have done any of these yourself, so you want to pay attention. One thing Frank would do is he would sit around, and when he was talking about girls to other girls, he would say things like, why do girls like the assholes? Why do girls always go for the jerks? Like, don't they like good guys? And when you're saying that, you're sort of saying, like, they don't like me. And it comes across really desperate. Another thing Frank would do would be, so let's say a new girl started, like, working with us, or let's say I started dating a girl, and I would introduce him to her. He would immediately, within like 10 minutes of like talking to the girl, go, so do you have any friends? Why don't you bring some friends around? It's like, she does not want to bring her friends and introduce them to the hungry guy.
Yeah, Frank's not the type of guy who, you'd be the dude, like, if you guys have any attractive friends on Facebook, any girls that are attractive, he'd be the guy, as soon as that girl posts like some sexy selfie or some flattering picture of herself, he'd be the guy liking it, being like, beautiful, you look stunning, great. And I'm sure, like I said, if you have any attractive friends on Facebook, go look at their pages, go through their photos, and hopefully you're not the guy posting those comments. And if you are, you gotta stop, because nothing good is gonna come of that. She's not gonna be like, wow, he's flattering me, so I need to go have sex with him. She's gonna look at that and be like, wow, like this guy is clearly very, very hungry.
Yeah, and you want to catch yourself, because like I said, I knew this mantra, yet I was still guilty of it. We all get guilty of it without even realizing it. I can remember having a party at my house one day, and the girl that I was into, and I was hoping she would come to the party, and she showed up, and we had this conversation, it was going good, and then her friends wanted to leave, and she's like, I gotta go, and I'm like going, just stay a little bit longer, come on, you don't have to leave, I'll drive you home. And it's so desperate, and it shows so much hunger and neediness that it just drives her away. There's all these little ways, and I know you were even mentioning before this video, one of the ways you used to get...
Well, you know what's amazing? Exactly. I thought the same thing. I knew this mantra. I would be going out. I would know not to look hungry. And then, unconsciously, I was even doing things like pecking into her. Like, I remember I was out on a date with a girl, and I caught myself doing it. We were talking, we were ordering drinks, and we were talking at the bar, And I'm noticing, I'm like, why is like half my body like, you know, and I was like, wow, this must appear so unattractive, because when I see other guys doing that, I'm like, it's clear he's so invested, his diet is so dependent on, you know, that girl's approval, that he's like, you know, he's almost like jumping out of his skin. And then here I was doing it. So it's something that I had to remind myself of constantly, that you have to really vet all your behavior for that hungry aspect of it.
Yeah, you want to really pay attention if you're giving off a hunger vibe. And a lot of times, you know, it's interesting because a lot of guys get confused because a girl seems initially attracted to them. They meet a girl, you go out on a few dates, whatever, and then all of a sudden she kind of pulls back, or she becomes a little less interested, or she stops kind of responding to your texts as fast, or maybe gives you less to go with, or she gives you those one-word answers, and you can kind of sense like something just happened here. And you're like, what happened? And I can almost guarantee is that she sensed you were getting hungry. And sometimes the things you do are obvious. Sometimes the hunger things are like sending her flowers at work, which, you know, we both talked about, and that's like something that just reeks of that desperation. It could be something like sending her too many check-in texts. Check-in texts are like when you're like, hey, what are you up to? What are you doing? And you're like always like wanting to know what she's up to, and she can kind of sense like, he's checking in on me. He's a little, he's a little too invested. It could just be being too available. You know, there's a lot of different things that you could be doing, and what you have to be aware of is that girls have like a radar for hunger. They can sniff it. Like, they can not only sniff it, but girls are so scared of it because they're very, you know, for very good reason. A lot of guys get too needy, they get too clingy, so girls now want to weed these guys out, and they do little tests. You know, there's things that they do where maybe they, you know, maybe it's on a conscious level, maybe it's on a subconscious level, and maybe they just ignore one of your texts. And it's to see how you respond, right? They want to see how hungry is this guy. There's all these little things they're doing, and you have to be aware of it. But now the good news is, right, that when you're aware that girls are kind of paying attention to how hungry you are, and that girls are testing you, you're actually able to use it to your advantage, because of one thing is, when you don't look hungry, it's a very attractive trait. When a girl meets a guy who appears like totally not hungry for her attention, her approval, she kind of gets hungry for his, right? So what Rob and I did was we put together another video for you, and we had this concept. It's actually a technique, and it's actually a little on the sneaky side. I'm going to warn you, it may or may not be something you're comfortable using, but we put a video together explaining it. And what this video teaches you how to do is, there's 4 things, and we call it the 4 horsemen of the chase. And these are things that you can do to sort of test girls and to sort of get them hungry and to get them chasing you. And like I said, we call this the Scrambler, and it's a little bit of a mind game, but it's really friggin' effective. So if you click the link below, you can watch that video and learn that technique. And even if you've learned nothing else from this video, those who look hungry never get fed.